Alright guys, this is how to create a light controller for your display. And what I do is I use the old 8-function light controllers. Alright, as you guys can see on the front here, you guys have all seen these before. And I tend to use these now for LED components in my Christmas display, especially arches. So we'll look at that here in a little bit. First thing I want you guys to make sure to understand is power rating. This guy is set for 1 amp of total power. And I usually make sure that that's 1 amp in power on the steady on state when all of the lights from this controller are on. And then again, that's just to be safe so you don't burn out your controllers. 1 amp with LED lights is quite a lot of light, so you guys should be okay using this in some of your setups. What I'll tend to do with these guys is I will tend to cut it with a little bit of length left in the lights. As you guys can see, I leave a few lights left on the strand. And the reason why I tend to do that is so that when I divide these lights up and I can label each one of these strands based on the color that it was. So for instance, if this strand was orange, I would take orange electrical tape and put it on there so I could label it. If it was blue, I would label this one blue, so on and so forth. So once you guys have kind of labeled all of this down, I will tend to cut it right below the first light, so that all my strands are about the same. The only one I tend to keep a little bit longer is the common wire. And the common wire is this one. This one is you're going to have to attach to each one of the 4 channels. Now we'll take a look at that on a controller I have finished here in a minute. So once I have done that, you can build this a couple different ways. I had a lot of strands of lights that I've been given that have been broken. You know, Craigslist, I have broken lights, things like that I get for free. And so I try to reuse the lights as much as possible, either making extension cords out of them. There's videos on YouTube how to do that, and to do this. So let me show you what one of my controllers look like here. So this controller here is a 3-channel controller, which means there were only 3 colors on this guy instead of the 4 colors on this guy. So on this one, you'll notice here you'll have 5 strands of wires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, common in the 4 colors. On this one, you'll notice it only had 4. This particular guy was only rated at 0.6 amps. See if I can focus in on that for you guys. Yeah, 0.6 amps. You guys can see in the middle of the screen, 3rd line down. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I designed with this guy was rated at 0.6 amps. So each end here is connected to a common. As you see in my bundle here, each one of these guys is connected to a common. And you guys can electrical tape. You guys can do whatever you see fit. This one I just kind of made for an example purpose. And then each one is also attached to a color. So on the strand that it was, the strand had red, blue, and green lights. So I just labeled it that way. So this one's green. This one here is blue, guys, as you see there. And then the other one right here is red, as you see there. So I just labeled it red, blue, and green. So it comes out with a pretty nice controller. You guys, again, I've seen some times where you might be able to label this and attach it to an electrical box with electrical outlet, and that may work for you guys. It kind of depends on what you want to do. I have done it before. This also works well for the things that I do. So once you guys have this built, and again, it's real easy twisting, soldering, and taping this all together. I make the harness nice like this. Now we're going to go outside real quick where I already have it connected and running on a couple of arches I built. These arches are 10-foot PVC poles, rebar in the ground. It's the gray conduit that I just spray painted black. And this one has green and white lights on it. And you guys will see that the green strands are on each end and the white ones in the middle. So let's kind of take a look outside here. So as you guys can see here, and I'll turn this sideways, we have my arches here. And it might be a little hard for you guys to see right now, but as you guys can kind of see, it's going from green here to white to green again. So these are the 3 channels that I had talked about, making them look like they're kind of skipping across the lawn. And at night, these look pretty awesome. And again, some of you guys are big light controller fans from LOR, things like that. I have a little bit more of a static display, but this tends to work really well. You guys can design your arches kind of any way you want it. I just kind of set these up real quick and real fast, so I do have a lot of cords kind of laying around here. But basically, I have 2 sets of C7 greens, so there's 50 lights here, 2 sets of the whites, and then again 2 sets of the greens over here. So 150 lights on each arch, and these ones, and each arch in steady mode will draw 0.12 amps. So I can run on one controller 6 arches, which is nice. When they're in the mode that they're moving back and forth like this, they draw 0.07 amps. So I could do a lot more if I have them on a controller blinking. Again, so down there is the controller, and it's hooked up to the different cords that I have here. And again, I don't usually have this big bundle of cord like this, but again, this was just for demonstration purposes for you guys. And that, as you guys can kind of see, they look like they jump across. The whites are kind of hard to see, but they look like they jump all the way across. They do it in different modes. Now this controller again was 3 channel. You guys can use the 4 channel if you like, if you want different colors, different effects. I tend to leave it on 2 different modes, the different color flash and the quick blink. And that tends to, again, make it look like it's jumping across the lawn here. Just kind of have you guys look at that there. So again, really easy, guys. You can use these for many different things. I have a pole that usually sits in the middle of this that goes up about 8 feet, that also has the strands of lights wrapped around there in the same thing, so it kind of looks like the pole is streaking into the sky. You can do a 4-channel controller, 3 on the arches, 1 with blue lights on the ground, making it look like it splashes into the ground. Kind of up to you guys on what you want to do. A lot of different things you guys can do out there. But this is just kind of what I do for my static display, since I don't do a lot of lights-o-rama or multifunction controller stuff. So that's it. Easy way to use these controllers. If you guys have any questions, you guys can email me, bigstott@aol.com. I'm more than happy to answer any questions or take ideas if you guys have some better ideas for me. Thanks.